sequence there to end what was a really, really great game last night.
It was a good game.
But was that call by your former teammate gutsy or crazy?
It was gutsy, and then it became stupid. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Jared Goff falling, right? So as I'm watching it on the TV, Paul, I see him go, and I kind of like just turned a little bit, and he stumbled and handed the ball off. I literally thought somebody sliced through and tripped him until I saw the replay. Because I was like, you know, at that point, I'm like, damn, what the hell are you doing? But then after I break everything down, it was the right call, 4th and inches, okay? Because if you kick the field goal a little early, they get time left on the clock. They have been moving the football on the defense a little bit. So you go back down there, and you probably get a tie, or who knows, they wind up winning the game with you know, 0.2 of a second or something left on the clock. So I think it was gutsy. It was a right call, right situation. The one that I have a problem with, though, was at the end of the third quarter.
Yeah.
4th and 2 on your own end. You gave them 7. You gave them 7. That was the one, to me, was like, come on, Dan, man. Then y'all tossing the ball. You're going up against a fast defense, so the perimeter isn't going to be there. The flow is coming. Right. And if your guards and tackle don't get out and pull, you in trouble. They're going to force everything back to the inside, and everybody's scraping over the top. So that was the one that made me, I was getting ready to text him in the middle of the game. That was the one that was really, that made me mad. But then they pulled it out, and I was happy for him because you put a lot of pressure. When you do things like that, it applies pressure to the Aaron Glenn's of the world as a defensive coordinator as well as his defense. Because now they got to, oh, my God, we got to stop them in these situations. It worked out for him.
Right.
It worked out for him, and I'm happy that they was able to celebrate last night in Detroit.
And not be mad at Dan.
And not be mad at Dan Quinn.
Well, you asked if they're gutsy or crazy. Let's talk about who Dan Campbell is. And when I think about his characteristics, he said some of these things after the game. Tough, resilient, confident. He's a risk taker. I mean, I've watched all season. The Lions, they run so many tricks. They ran more trick plays than Don Juan throughout the season. And so it doesn't surprise me that this is what they did in a crucial situation where they should have kicked a field goal. I mean, listen, they hold true to who they are. Think about this. The Lions have the best offensive line in the business. So look it, we right here, we got a chance to really put the game away. Yeah, no, you like that line, huh? They got more trick plays than Don Juan.
Hey. We made it to the other side.
Yes. It was a very good game, Paul. I'm like,
they take risks.
Hey, they take the risk. Come on. They show true to who they are.
I understand that, but taking that risk in that situation.
That's who they are, Keith.
I get all that. It worked out for them. They ran the ball on 4th down, I believe, 4 times, and they got it 3 of the 4. It worked out for them. But I am, as you know, Paul, a what-if guy. What if it didn't work out? What if somebody really did tackle Jared Goff and he fell down right there? You know, I start to think about all of those sort of things because there's teams that's right behind you. The Minnesotas of the world, the Philadelphias of the world. We talked about this. You can go from the 1 seed to something different.
Listen to this. If this is Detroit and you're playing the Kansas City Chiefs in the same situation in the Super Bowl, he's going to do the same thing. Yeah, because he does not want to put the ball in Mahomes' hands.
You lose the Super Bowl if you want to.
No, he will do the same thing.
You lose the Super Bowl if you want to.
That's my thing. I liked it because it worked.
Yeah, because it worked.
So I'll shut the hell up. It worked.
Best offensive line in the business.
You have to try to win the game. I'm with you. The third quarter one was far more egregious than this one.
Absolutely.
You have the opportunity to convert, leave no time on the clock, do the walk-off. Great. It all worked out. Congratulations. You look like a genius. The thing that I don't like about identities is you can be strong and raw and eat kneecaps and you know, all those things. I love that. Aggressive. Round. But you also have to be strategic. Lions are also very strategic. You know, we were going to talk about the Wilds. You're not just jumping on something. You have to have a strategy. And in certain situations, like Keyshawn said, lose the Super Bowl if you want to. So the only thing that gives me anxiety about it is I aggressive play calling is cool when it works. When it doesn't, you're wrong, you're stupid. When it works, you look like a genius, even if it is extremely risky. But the problem is when you get into the postseason,
Yes.
when your
Habits.
season is on the line, when there is no tomorrow, when it's not going from the number 1 seed to the 5th seed, but you're still in the postseason, when your entire season and legacy and line and jobs and everything that everybody has worked for all year is on the line, and you want to be like, well, this is what we do. What you should do is win games. What you should do is make the right call in the right moment that's going to put you in the best position to win the game.
If I got a running back and I need 1 yard, my running back nickname is Knuckles, I'm giving it to him.
Yeah, and
that's cool.
That's
His
cool.
name is
But if it's in the
Knuckles.
Super Bowl
In certain
and you
situations,
lose, you're gonna get a knuckle sandwich.
Yes, in certain situations, it works. Ever since we joined this show together, one of the things we talk about is the Detroit Lions at the top of the season. And the one thing I said is that's the only thing that I'm afraid of is Dan Campbell. I'm afraid that Dan he gets, sometimes I think, he gets caught up in the player mentality, which the player mentality is always be aggressive. That's just the way he
was a player.
Yeah, so you get caught up, and that was his style, but that can cost you just like it did against the San Francisco 49ers. You cannot. They supposed to be in the Super Bowl last year against Kansas City Chiefs. But when you took a certain approach, okay?
Right.
They supposed to beat the Dallas Cowboys last year in Dallas. But when you take a certain approach, you're going to keep going for 2-point conversions, you wind up losing the game. I don't want to see that happen to my man. I want to see my man get that Lombardi and put that thing in the air. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to see.
I mean, you should have aggressiveness in your arsenal, right? You should have.
It's got to be smart.
You should have guts. You should have an unapologetic identity. You should have commitment from your players. You should have trust. All those things should be in your arsenal. But you also have to know when to be strategic. Andy Reid is an aggressive coach, but he is also strategic and prepared and measured.
Yes.
And you as the coach, while all that is important, all those other elements, you have to stay here. You can't get up with the players. It's your job to remain calm as the leader and to make the decision that is best. And again, they won, so who cares? But in the postseason, when everything's on the line, we have seen this from him before. Yeah. And that is the only thing that concerns me.
And that's to me. So like for me, Paul, I'm like extremely close to the situation in Detroit or in Denver. Guys that have been with me and learned under the same umbrella. We kind of on the same tree, come from the same thought process. And the coaches they would never do that. So when I look at Sean this past weekend, pump fake them in Cleveland like he was going to go for it, I'm like, he ain't going for that. Man, he's going to kick the field goal. He knows better.
Yeah.
And so when I look at Dan, I'm like, come on, Dan, you being hard-headed. You know that ain't what we're supposed to be doing. And it worked out for him this time.
That was a message to the rest of the league, that play. That was a clear message.
We're going to be tough. Yes, I get that.
Tough,
but the
team
team
punch you in the mouth.
Yeah, that's cool.
This is who we are.
Until you can't punch them.
Yeah, but the rest of the team,
Philadelphia lines up.
Everybody last night, there was the only game on. So everybody watched this. This was a clear message to the rest of the NFL that this is going to be on your mind if we got to see y'all in the playoffs. So now you got to prepare for that.
Yeah, we know that you are going to take huge risks.
Super risk.
Which will work out.
I liked it.
But
They held true to who they were, and they held true to who the coach is, and they take on the coach's personality.
I like it during the regular season when you have wiggle room, when you live to fight another day.
Yeah, that's true, Joy, what you just said. When you have wiggle room in the regular season. Yeah. But you know what this is not? This is not the regular season anymore for the Detroit Lions. And the reason it's not the regular season for the Detroit Lions.
They're trying to get a bye.
Because they're trying to get the bye. And I don't have a 3-game lead. You see what I'm saying? Even in my division, I got to see the Minnesota Vikings again.
I also just don't like the idea that just because you're strategic doesn't mean that you're not tough or that you're not aggressive or that you're not going to take risks.
Yeah.
That like it's like you only have to be one thing or the other. Like we're only tough. We only always go for it.
And the kicker is money too, though. You know.
But what was the risk? Yeah, they don't get the first down. There's 40 seconds to go. Defense could probably get a stop. It's overtime. If they were down, I get it. But they were like,
But
we're tied up. We at home.
The one they scored on,
Yeah.
I'm okay with. They kicked the field goal at the end of the game. That one, that's fine. Okay, whatever. They was gonna get that. It wasn't nothing but an inch.
No,
They're fine.
I'm with you. The end of the game,
I'm
because
good.
you're right. They're tied. It goes to
That's the
overtime.
one I'm talking about.
The
though.
one in the third
Third quarter one, I get it.
That was a peak.
I get it.
That was
and
a
they can
flat
learn
out
from
peak.
that. Yeah, for sure.
Problem.
The one in the third quarter, I get it. But the one in the fourth quarter,
Problem. That's
100%.
I don't know which P word we're going here.
No, that's a problem.
Problem. Okay, we could say that on TV. After the game, the Lions locker room was very hype. Both Dan Campbell and Jared Goff spoke about the team and what this win meant.
Hey, listen, if I looked online, I say, and I just Google football coach, I want it to look just like that and sound like that.
It's man Campbell.
That's that Texas A&M.
Oh, man.
What are the Lions destined for this season?
It should be Super Bowl, but I'm not so confident because I think the Philadelphia Eagles looked and said, I think there's a chink in this armor because they had trouble with Green Bay, and Green Bay could have easily won this game. So the last few weeks, the Lions been on the ropes, and they could have lost a few of these games. And the Eagles are licking their chops saying, okay, if y'all play like that versus us, y'all going to be going home before y'all want to go home. But it's for them Super Bowl or bust at this point. The Lions have been indestructible. They've been the most impressive team for the most part all season long. Coach, they check all the boxes. Defense, running, resilient. We win by blowouts. We win when we're not supposed to win. They got running game, receiving. They check every single box of a Super Bowl team. So it's Super Bowl or bust for them. But I don't know, man. Philly, I'd be scared if I Detroit or Philly.
You know, it's that you say what's their destined?
What are they destined for this season?
What are they destined for this season? They're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to the Super Bowl.
That game gave you confidence? That game?
1,000%. Because they've shown me now they've taken care of business within their own division. Whether they're squeaking them out or not, it's their division. So they're going to be tough games. They're going to be tough against Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota. They've gotten rid of all that. They got all those guys out of their way so far. They see them again. Not only that, they was there last year, AFC Championship game. So NFC Championship game. So they made a few mistakes that they seem like they're going to correct as long as Dan don't make those mistakes again. They'll be getting Aiden Hutchinson back possibly if they make a deep run into the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl. So you got that coming back. And then when you look at having the #1 seed is extremely important. It doesn't work out for everybody all the time. We saw Baltimore get sent home. But having the #1 seed in Detroit, where the people of Detroit are going crazy right now to be a part of something that they've never been a part of.
Yeah.
And so if they get those teams, that's why if they was to lose that game last night, it turns into something different. But if you get the Motor City roaring those engines inside that stadium, oh, man, they for sure going to be in New Orleans.
I just have an issue, the secondary for Detroit. When you talk about what the Eagles are going to bring, with A.J. Brown and Devontae.
They do a good job to me.
Look what Green Bay did.
Yeah,
look what Green Bay did. And then you got Saquon.
Yeah, but
that's my only concern with them.
I think the Eagles are an excellent matchup.
It's a matchup. It would be absolutely
a terrific game, and I could see it going either way. They look like the team to be in the league, though. They've been the most consistent throughout the year. They have all of their pieces. Obviously, it just makes me sad, honestly, that Hutchinson is not out there because he's such an incredible player. It would be amazing for him to be a part of this. These were divisional matchups, so when we're talking about them being close games and them not looking how they've looked all year, even the best teams in the league are not going to blow teams out every single week. And I don't know who started that propaganda. I hate it. Sometimes you'll have a blowout. For the most part, it's going to be
New England Patriots, and they went 16-0.
No, it's just like this idea that if you're a good dominant team, you should be blowing NFL teams out every single week, and that's just not true.
No.
So I don't mind that they were close games because I also think the Packers are a really good team. So I expected this to be a shootout, and it was. It was a fun game to watch. The Packers matched them all the way down the line. It could have gone either way, and it went the Lions' way, and that's because they are a step ahead of the Packers right now, and that's how it should go. Anything less than a Super Bowl appearance for this Lions team would be incredibly disappointing. So when we're talking about what they're destined for, it feels like a Super Bowl. that NFC Championship game is going to be something to watch. Switching over to the Packers side, Josh Jacobs rushed for 3 touchdowns, and Jordan Love drove the Packers down for a game-tying field goal late in the 4th, but they did come up short. So did the Packers prove anything in that game against the Lions yesterday?
Yeah, they certainly did that they're going to be a tough out in the playoffs. They're going to be a tough out because everything they have from the defense and the offensive side of the ball is portable. They can play indoors or outdoors. Mm-hmm. They can move things around. The quarterback can throw in bad conditions. They can run the football. So I like their opportunity. It's very tough to go on the road and win 3 straight playoff games and go to the Super Bowl. It's tough.
Yeah.
The last team to do it, guess what? It was the Green Bay Packers in 2010. They went on the road 3 straight times and wind up beating Pittsburgh oh, sorry, Joy, I didn't mean that.
Yeah, I know.
They wind up beating the Steelers on the road in a neutral site. But I think that this team, if anybody can do it out of the NFC, this will be the team that could do it. I don't think Minnesota can do that.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think Tampa Bay can do that. I don't think maybe Philadelphia can. I don't think Detroit will be able to do that because they're a dome team that has to go in some different environments that may be a little bit of a problem for them.
The Packers are going to be a really tough out in the playoffs. And keep in mind, they have experience because they had that game against Dallas, who was absolutely rolling last year, hadn't lost, I think, a game at home, in 16 straight games when Green Bay went in and beat that Dallas team with an MVP finalist, an all-pro quarterback, and 8 other all-pros on the field on the road. So they have the confidence to know that they can go and beat a good team in the postseason. And I think that game last night, whether it proved anything to me or not, like they're playing toe-to-toe with the best team in the league in the Lions. You should feel good about that. There's no moral victories at this point in the season, but they are a good team, and they're kind of quietly in that space. Did they prove anything to you?
Yeah, I agree with you, Joy. There's no moral victories, but I look at the Packers' 4 losses. They lost to Philly by 5 points. They lost to Minnesota by a field goal at the end, 2 points. They lost to the Lions last night by 3. They showed me that you cannot make mistakes versus Green Bay because when the playoffs come, when the pressure is on, when every throw and every play counts, they're a team that can beat you. They can beat you if you make like when they went in there and everybody thought, oh yeah, Dallas, this the year.
I swear to God, I didn't think that.
Got to throwing them interceptions. You start making mistakes.
It did feel like it might have been Dallas.
Right. And they went in there. They went to Dallas last year and just shocked the world. Yeah. Nobody thought that Love was going to go in there and do that in Dallas.
He had been playing well then.
Because Dallas made mistakes. And Dallas did not lose at home.
They made the mistakes because they made them make the mistakes.
So that's what that's telling me. There's a small window for mistakes in Dallas, and that's what great teams do. You see, Green Bay made the mistakes last night versus Detroit. The penalty when they had the ball, 1st and goal, and then they end up not getting a touchdown when the receiver clipped the other defender. That would have been a touchdown. That probably would have sealed the game.
Which one?
Towards the end of the game when they had the play where the receiver, they crossed and he clipped it, set the screen with accidental contact right there.
Do that.
Yeah, so if they score right there, that play right there, they probably win the game. When he picked the guy, they probably win the game. That was a mistake by Green Bay. See, they can't make those mistakes either. But if you go in there and you make mistakes with Green Bay, some of these teams that got Super Bowl hopes,
well, even that 3rd quarter decision by Dan Campbell, they capitalized on and scored that touchdown.
Yeah.
They weren't able to convert.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But you gave them a free 7, though. That was a free 7.
They did go get that 7.
Yeah, but again, when something like that happens, as you know, Joy, momentum changes, right? All of a sudden, your defense is deflated. They out there sitting there, man, why would this dude do that? They're not thinking like that anymore. Well, now, Green Bay, like, oh, yeah, we get ready to get this free 7.
But, yeah, exactly. Like, this was a postseason game. Maybe you don't come back from that momentum swing.
No, exactly.
But great game last night. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.